7. Whiskey time. When I get up steps, Ma'am drones as an angry bee does if trapped aside a closed-up window, buzzing and cursing, irritation, and all my fault as usual. "What did I do to deserve you, eh?" she says, rat-tatting up on the lino with a stick. I try, but the words fly off, flutter into absence, leaving me with spit and splutter. My tongue is a massive big, and blocking across the throat. "Shut up, just shut up," she says, her voice a graveling cough. Spots of blood land all up on her blouse. "Stop blubbering," Ma'am goes on, "and fetch the towel, that one, you clown." More blood comes chugging with more coughs. I try and wipe at her with the tissues, but the splats away at me. "Don't touch me," she crackles. "I can't bear it when you touch me." She lunges across her face with a towel that always sits up on her knees, trying to lash me, then slumps back with a harsh sighing. "I'm going to die," she says, "alone, watched over by a mumbling, hideous gargoyle. Why? Why me?" Not a thing can be levered from within my mouth. I am feared of the blood and of the talk of death, and a trembling comes across me, an iciness. Ma'am barks up sharp things out of her mouth. They is to make hurt on me, as a stick would if she might reach. It is all about how she wanted me birthed dead, and that it was meant to be that way, and then more of it on how my hatching did bring destructions on her life. My hands have the full shakes at her nasties, and I crush the first glass in my hog hand, and as I gather at the pieces, she laughs at the blood spurts and tries for splatting with her stick. "Water," she yells out, and I towel up my hand and fetch a new glass with water to her. She drinks it all down like there is no time to come, and slops driblets upon her clothes. "They'll take you away when I'm dead," she says. "They'll lock you up and throw away the key. I cannot squeeze a sound through. Sand, dry lips. But I do shake the hog-head shift to almost dizzy time, as she tells how I do deserve such punishments for my damage of her, for prisoning her within the wheelchair, which Dad told I did not have the doing of, as she did walk many years on from my hatch, hardly able to walk, hardly a life at all, and a swine of a husband who gave me an ugly bore and didn't stay around for more. Whiskey, I need more whiskey. I make explanation how I will collect it later times, when the kitty pigs is not plodding about and welcoming trouble. But she will not hear of my words, and does not make insistence on me going for whiskey straight off. And when I makes hesitance, she does start the blood coughing again, more so, and I know I must venture within kitty pig territory before the cover of dark time falls, to fetch her whiskey comfort. I put on my special hat to try and hide the hog head. Dad made it from an old leather coat. It covers my lop ears and dips deep around the chin. I have worries the look is an executioner from olden days, like in pictures I have seen, but better to try and cover the big bore bounce than flaunt. I have Ma'am's note and purse in one hand, with the canvas bag for whiskey within the other. I believe the hands full seem less worrisome to outside people. I never look direct to anyone's eyes. That is learned from my pigs. Purposeful eye contact is as daring when it does come from unfriended beasts like me, and I have no desire to greet conflict. My very own shadow pulsing up on the ground is enough to fetch fears to most. At my gate I wait to check up on the street. No sign of kitty pigs, no scent of them, no sound of them. Perhaps they are chomping on dinners, or riding the metro without ticketing. That is my hope. I have the long stretch of houses with watching windows, and in the sharp corner at the right, before I am able to look up on the shop that sells nearly everything a house might need. I move hastily as my hoghead will allow, eyes below, whispering wishes that I meet not one. Halfway into the stretch, I get the smell of kitty pig boys. They is hidden and waiting, as they have done times past, and I do fear the spitefulness of them, the way they look to me as beast and freak, for they could fetch the outside world full on at me, to crush my palace into dust and bloodiness. I stumble to the far pavestones to put distance on us, but there is calling kid piggy boy, sliding without a gait, and he spreads himself across my direction. He has the bat within his hand, with its sway from side to side as it climbs a long arc, like someone working themselves on a park swing. I step to the road middle, where I see the kitty pig boys, lining at a ridge holding on sticks, so I must move within them. I contemplate on returning back, but Ma'am's anger and neediness engines me on. I dwell on thoughts of my pigs, and that gives me up the strength of love. The kitty pig boys all have sticks of some brand, and as I get to nearby, I smell excitement up on them, and fear as they begin to chant their own taunt words. Keep the freaks off the street, keep the freaks off the street. Each time they speak the keep word, they hit at me, legs, back, high as they are able. None are big enough to get on my pig skull, as I am grateful at that. I do not cry, I do not look. I say these words within my hog head as they roll around and round like bagatelle balls on wooden game Dad found. I slouch on, biting at the pain, pressing teeth inside my lips. I limp bad as I have rounded the shop corner. I most likely bleed below my clothes because of this hog skin of me being extreme thin, like newborn piglets. It does split and bruise extra easy. Within the shop, Miss Robson tries the niceness as usual, but I see the tremor when she looks at these shovel hands. She thinks of the damage what hands like these could do. I want to say my uglies is outside, only for reassuring her, but cannot. She wraps Ma'am's whiskey within newspaper and pops it in my bag so it is snug. I remember the dozens and dozens of whiskey bottles I have fetched from here over long years, maybe thousands now, and all gone within Ma'am and out that other end, and all empty bottles left for dustbin days. Miss Robson counts the change money extra slow because she thinks I have no brain machinery at all. I do not speak. Strangled sounds would fright her more than one. When I do move to leave, my head is full of the worry of kitty pig boys and if they will be in wait. They know I never go further than this shop. I cannot see Hollylock and her ma'am coming in at me, so the door smacks at my sore knees, and I crumple in my middle, and when I look up I am staring full at Miss Locke's face. She makes a tiny gasp, but then tries to smile, and Holly holds the door extra wide for my escape. As I go, I give a sideways peep, and Holly's mouth does a turn up at the corners that I am much better, much more in and of the world. The kitty pig boys wait up on the corner, carelessly leading this that way. When I shuffle on, they stand straight, ready for more bruising. I hear into their whisperings and grasp they want Ma'am's whiskey, but I cannot allow it because her need is great. They raise up their hitting sticks, and I lift my body up tall, stretch my hog head high, and I roar as a massive boar would do. The noise is extreme louder than anyone could imagine because it is dragged up from the very deeps of my stomach and hurled at the air. Those kitty pig boys, not frozen to their spots, run. They call out back over shaky shoulders, freak, 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 as a sort of charm or magic, for I pretend they have no frights. At home, Ma'am takes no notice of my hurts. She has no desires to give comfort to her gargoyle. She makes the grab for whiskey, and that novel of anger in me starts to surge, like I might plod the darned bottle on her hating skull and smash all to nothingness. This raging makes my hog heart crash and wallop, and I see spots on my eyeballs, but some other inmost place whispers at me that I am carrying pain from the kitty pig boys into Ma'am, turning it at her, and that is what the lashing is made of. Ma'am reads something of this in me and makes a reach at her stick as she can beat me away. I give out the bottle and make distance from her. After she has hold of her whiskey, she settles into TV things, and I am free to visit with my pigs. I lay front ways flat up on the hay, and with sharp hurting breaths I tell of the kitty pig boys stuff. The pigs lick at my hurts and raspy tongues and clamber over me, rubbing and nuzzling until they know I am in calm. Upon the next day after school time, Holly Locke comes back to visit, and I am filled up with a great prospect of this as at everything day to come. The pigs is washed, and they run at her to rub wetness upon her legs. Her laugh comes as our waterfall, gurgly and flowing. Far deep within is a warm place, what Holly Locke touches. I give Dad's old butcher coat to keep her clothes clean and show the dry and oil of Peach Pig, and I try to keep my damages from her eyes. Rub oil in all over, then sprinkle this, I tell, and she sneezes loud. 1, 2, 3. Jupiter protect, I say with a snap of fingers. What's that for? She asks. Dad says it stops the soul escaping from the body through the mouth. Where is your dad, Jack? Won't you tell me? She is full of the questions, which is as should be, I think. They are questions deserving of answers, not just the snoop kind. Gone. Long time. My fault. Too ugly. Head too empty. So, Holly, you do sprinkle, and she sneezes again, which makes extra laughs for us both. The pigs love this laughing, and they stop their hooves and snortle. What's that stuff, Jack? The stuff that makes me sneeze. I see she lets go of the dad, and I am pleased. It will be a later talk thing for us, maybe. I explain of the powdered sawdust and its goodness for porker skin. She holds at her nose, pours into Peach's skin, and rubs until the piglet almost sings for pleasure. I wave out my big arm and tell Holly that all of the palace is her secret place now. I see pleasure in her as she wanders into corners, curious eyes seeking, hands all loose at her back. Peach follows on, running in and over her legs and sidestepping her toes. All the pigs murmur soft, offering the true sharing of their home space. It was weird seeing you in the shop yesterday, Holly says. When we're down here, it's like the rest of the world has stopped and we're not part of any of it, then bumping into you up there. Her words slither off and she stares to me, needing me to name it, which I do, as it is much necessary. I tell her how I is freak in the outside world, and when she makes head shakes, I say I know the truth of it, how it has been so for long enough. They are not freak, but I am. I am freak to all, but I make explanation how she is to be with their side of things on the outside. It's the way. Otherwise, and trouble does brew, so she must never look up on me as friend up outside, or they will place her along at me and call her freak also. I wave my arms awkwardly as windmills when I talk out to make expressions for her, and she sees the hurts and rushes to me. I move sideways from her, but she makes me bend low for her to see. Who did this to you, Jack? Tell me who hurt you. Was it your mam? She asks. I do the head shake. I do not wish to tell of the badness of pig boys, but she is forceful for knowing, and afterwards she hangs her head and is very downcast. You can't let them get away with this, Jack. You could bash their bloody skulls in. I would if I was you. I'd give them a really good kicking. I tell that it would not be good way. I am very certain and loud in my voice. Jack, I hate them, she says with full fury. Then she gives me a dumpy smile, but I see a confused thing at what she feels. I decide to change moodiness and show the clever things I do with my voice. I wanted to know all of me. I sing in best highness and chuck the sound up on different corners of the palace, so Holly is twisting this way and that, and her eyes fill with questionings. Jack, she says, who is that singing? I say it is the pigs firstly, but she does not believe me, so I sing at the corners and bring my voice back within my throat for her understanding, like this. The time is come, the walrus said, to talk of many things, of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings. She cannot believe. She stares and stares, and I sing some more. And why the sea is boiling hot, and whether pigs have wings. Jack Plum, it is you, she says, filled full with a delight. That's amazing. Do you think you could teach me how to do it? It was showed to Dad by a big sailor captain a long time back, and I do not know the possibility of Holly making learning of it, because Dad did always say it was my big neck and head and the big wobbly bits that let me do it so good. He could not make it sound anyways, but she is in such wanting, we do make a try. Her voice comes screwed with a determination. She puts big efforts in, but ends with the sore throat and stumbly cough. I know her disappointment inside outside, and my hog-head is sorry. She walks slow around the palace to push down her fed-upness. Before long time speech has the smile coming up with her grunt and gambling. She sees my radio in one corner and makes a point at it. Why do you listen to this station? It's all talk, and you could get a music channel. Shall I show you? I shake the hog-head and tell when Dad showed how to listen to the words, and how it does give me new knowledge of the outside world. Much what I do not like and not make an understanding of, but how I also gets the meanings on extra words to take and remember to keep inside the hog brain for use. Then she does stop by my special cupboard of books and stuff, and so I show where to press for the door to open. She says again of my cleverness to build lovely things, and I am so swanked up with the pride of it. That was Dad's word of looking and feeling extra good, swanky, and I do like the sound it makes. I tell how Dad read to me, how he gathered all books he could with pigs in. She makes a giggle and picks them one by one, speaking the names out. Animal Farm, The Tale of Pigling Bland, Padre Porco, The Three Little Pigs. I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll, she says. Blow your house down, I say, and then I ask if she will make the reading to me in pigs. When she says yes, the pigs snort and squeal with the excitement, and I know that I am filled up with delight, and for some seconds there is a hullabaloo in the palace like never before. I pass one of the Winnie the Pooh books and settle within a huddle of the pigs as a belly god with the piglings all over, and she begins to read, in which Piglet does a very grand thing. Her voice is full with sweetness as plum pudding, and soon I am there at that thoughtful spot, with Pooh and Piglet and captured up in their dilemmas of what to do with time, until Holly checks at her watch and has to fly like summer birds. After she is gone, an idea dangles at me, like the wave heat from an oven door fast opened. I battle with the frighteners until I am chilled of cold sweat. The idea has scent to it, not the pictures. It is the scent of the black place at Blandish the butcher's, where I did go meet with Dad. It is the scent of the killing, of lardy flesh and dripping blood on sawdusty floors. I understand from it the making of open a pig palace to Holly means I open pig world to dreaded dangers. And for some space of time the ground shifts below, as the sea pulled did at the holiday place. Dad took me one time with a tin bucket and wood spade, what carried pictures of sailor boats. that I make realizing that I cannot look to time back there. It is done now. The coming in of Holly is at the tumbling tide. It cannot be stopped. In late-time pig wanderings, I make offerings of tiny mirror pieces at Pig Relic Stone. This is improper, recognizing the power of it to bring connection with Holly and me. I do acknowledgement the dread things could flourish from good, and get tremblings within as one cloud immediately blankets the moon from me. Freya nudges at me to watch her new piglets at their first water escapade, and I take relief from their purest joy as Moon returns to put silver on their backs. It is all of connectedness. Moon, water, pigs, hope, Holly, me, all of the cycle round. An owl flies extra low by my head, seeking for mice and birds, or only sound the shush-shushing of furry wings. Life inside death. It goes round, round, round. It will never be still. 8. Holly Locke's World. When Jack sang for me, throwing his voice out into the corners of this pigdom, it was like the sound a young boy would make in a trained-up choir at some expensive school or cathedral, sweet and clear as glass. And if I shut my eyes and listened, I could imagine the sound came out of someone who looked like an archangel rather than a goblin. When I left him, I wanted to go straight round to Colin Driver's house and give him a good kicking for what him and his sick mates had done to Jack. They're pathetic. Mam was annoyed when I got in because I'd only left myself half an hour to get ready for my birthday party. She had all the sandwiches and cakes set out and was just putting the cream on a trifle. I apologized, but for some reason she wasn't having it. She kept going on at me about why I was late in. It was like doing the party had become a huge chore for her, and the weird thing was, it had been her idea to have it. She thought I should be more sociable, and maybe she was right, but parties usually made me tongue-tied because I just wasn't very good at all that chit-chat. It wasn't like her to be snappy and short-tempered. So, she usually enjoyed this sort of thing. Yes, she told me off for being late, but this was definitely over the top. I remembered the long phone call the night before and her forgetting the bolognese sauce. When she insisted on knowing where I'd been, I lied, saying I was at the skateboard park. She stopped decorating the trifle and stared at me like I was an alien. "Aren't you ever going to grow up?" she said. That really hurt. I couldn't understand what was happening or why she was in such a strange mood, and I almost told her to forget the party. After telling me to get washed and changed, she turned back to the trifle and said, "And wear something nice for a change." By nice, she meant a proper dress or skirt. At first I thought, no way. On me, they looked like they were still on hangers, but upstairs on my own, guilt took over. I was lying to her, and secretly seeing Jack Plum. Maybe she could sense something different in me, and that's what was making her edgy. As a compromise, I tried on a stretchy bra she'd got me, which was still in the box. It just sort of hung there like a dodgy hammock. I pushed some tissue paper into the cups to fill them out, but when I put a t-shirt on, my breasts looked like 2 bags of crisps. The short purple dress she'd bought me for my birthday turned me into a cross-dresser. I tried walking around in it, but my knees seemed to kick out so much they kept catching on the hem. They should give lessons on how to walk in a tight skirt. When I looked at myself in the mirror, I felt humiliated. There was no way I was going to the party looking like a transvestite. I flung the dress and the bra into the bottom of my wardrobe. When I got back downstairs, the music was on and Samantha had arrived. That made things worse because I hadn't invited her to the party. She came gushing toward me, holding out a small bright pink box. "I bought you some perfume," she said with a syrupy grin. "Perfume?" I snorted. "That's for old ladies." I didn't want to hurt her, but I didn't really like perfume. It always made me sneeze, and I must have told her a dozen times. But then she's never been brilliant in the listening department. She only wanted to be at my party because she'd fallen out with her latest bosom pal, Paula Tompkins. They'd been hanging out together for weeks, linking arms, whispering, mooching off to the chippy at lunchtimes, staying over at each other's houses. Then Paula started seeing this lad who does mobile buffets on London to Edinburgh trains, and she dumped Samantha. That's why I was in flavor of the month again. "Don't be pathetic, Holly," she snapped. "All the girls in our class wear it except you. The real girls, I mean. I thought I was doing you a favor." That got my back up. Why couldn't she just say sorry for going off with Paula and dumping me? Instead, she always just marched back into my life as if she'd never left. "1," I snapped, "I didn't invite you to my party, and 2, I don't bloody well like perfume, as you well know. 1, your ma'am invited me. I told her that you said I couldn't come, and 2, you should be grateful I'm trying to help you instead of laughing at you the way some of the other girls do." I told Samantha she was a creep and walked away. It was supposed to be my bloody party and my list of guests. Pushing her eyebrows up, Samantha clicked her tongue, like our headmistress, Miss Wilson, does when she's irritated, and followed me. I just knew she was dying to get some sarcastic comment, and when it came I went hot with shock. "What were you doing in Pard's Wood yesterday?" she said triumphantly. "That's where Jack Plum hangs about, and you're not supposed to go there." I denied being in the woods, but she insisted she'd see me. When she started raising her voice, my neck began knotting up with worry. I invited her to stay at the party. While I was rewarded with an ear-to-ear beam job, her eyes stayed sharp and knowing. She does my head in sometimes. Ma'am was watching everything from the kitchen doorway. She was obviously unimpressed by my jeans and loose shirt. I tried to keep out of Samantha's way once the party got going, but she was hard to shift as sweet paper stuck to your shoe. She cornered me in the corner between kitchen and front room, and went on wanting to be my best friend again. It wasn't as if I had loads to choose from. "You always say you're my best friend, and then you just bugger off with someone else when you feel like it. Maybe you should try to be a bit more exciting to be with then." She moved so close I could almost breathe. I almost couldn't breathe. I was tempted to smack her in the face, but Ma'am came up at that moment. Samantha started smarming up to her as usual, saying what a fad party it was, then suggested we play games. "What do you suggest, Samantha?" Ma'am said. Her face had softened a little, which pleased me, but when Samantha suggested truth, dare, kiss, or promise, I groaned loudly. "No way," I said. "I just want music and dancing." Ma'am and Samantha smiled at each other. "Too grown up for games, are you?" Ma'am said. My mouth went sour and dry. I wanted to slap Ma'am and Samantha, walk out of the house and into Jack's pig palace, but of course I couldn't. Instead, I ate too much food, and when Ma'am finally gave in to Samantha's endless request for games, I was so peed off I raided her drinks cupboard and hid in the pantry, swigging Baileys and brandy. I ended up in bed with a whirling head and stomach pains. Laughter and music from downstairs drifted up through the floorboards, making me feel more miserable. Some party. The vomiting started about half an hour later. It was a relief after the horrible tidal wave sensation. I began to feel better almost immediately, but when Ma'am saw me coming down the stairs, she sent me straight back up. She said she wanted me to stay in bed. I tried arguing with her, but she wouldn't listen. She reckoned my head was too hot. It was as if me being late for the party had set something off in her, but that was stupid. It wasn't a major crime. When she went back downstairs to send everyone home with a bit of cake, I lay there feeling totally irritated. I wondered if there was any way she could have found out about me and Jack, but I didn't think so. Her reaction would have been much stronger. Then I thought she might know about the brandy and Baileys. I couldn't help groaning out loud. Apart from being with Jack, it had been a crap day. About 8 o'clock, Ma'am came up with a supper tray. She plumped up my pillows and said she wanted me to stay in bed till morning in case I caught a bug or something. I'd already been cooped up for 3 hours and I needed to get out of the bed. She'd bought me a video as one of my presents, and I'd planned to watch it with her. Most of all, I wanted to make things right between us. She insisted I stay in bed. "What's wrong, Mom?" "Ma'am, why are you giving me such a hard time?" She took hold of my hand and gave me an embarrassed smile. "I'm sorry, Holly, you're right. I've been a bit distracted. It's just that, well, I've got something on my mind." She trailed off, and I waited for her to finish. "I've met someone," she said softly. My stomach started somersaulting again. She was talking about a boyfriend. It knocked me off balance because I wasn't expecting it. I stared at her and realized she was a bit more dressed up than usual. "You mean you've got a date?" She nodded and brushed my hair back off my face. "Tonight? Is that a problem?" she asked. Of course it was a problem. I didn't want her to have a boyfriend because it meant I'd see less of her and he'd be coming to our house. "Does it have to be tonight? Only I wanted us to be together, after my party. I thought you wouldn't mind me going out for a while after I'd done such a nice party for you. I didn't expect you to get sick, sweetheart. It's all arranged, and I've been looking forward to it. You don't really mind, do you?" I did, and I suppose I could have got all miserable on her, but then we wouldn't have a good time together anyway. I could get Samantha to come and stay with you, have a sleepover. I wasn't in the mood for Samantha. In fact, I wasn't in the mood for anything much, so I just shook my head. She leaned closer and stroked my forehead, which really was hot by then. "Things change, Holly," she said softly. I stayed in bed when she finished getting ready. Part of me thought she might still change her mind, come back in my room wearing her jogging pants and a t-shirt, put her arms around me. So when I heard the taxi horn outside and her footsteps on the path, I was dismal. Watching the video on my own didn't seem a very attractive option, so I stumbled out of bed, got washed and changed, and penned a note on my door that said, "Do not disturb." After checking my plants, I barricaded my bedroom door from inside, checked no one was watching, and climbed onto my window ledge. My bedroom's above the garage. The main window looks out onto the street, but the other one's over the side of the garage. There's this high metal gate below some old trellising, which used to have ivy all over it until Dad poisoned it. It's possible to climb off my window ledge, down the trellising, and onto the gate without much difficulty. Jack would be pleased to see me, and I didn't see why I should be on my own on my party night.